Well, now it's time for our special guests. Caitlin Cronenberg and Jessica Ennis are the authors of The Endings, photographic stories of love, loss, heartbreak, and beginning again. Caitlin is an award-winning photographer and director, while Jessica is an art director, set designer, and stop-motion animator. Together, they created a beautiful series of photographic vignettes that capture vulnerable heartbreaks, relationship endings, and new beginnings. Everyone, please give a warm Bill Bunch welcome to Caitlin Cronenberg and Jessica Ennis.
Woo!
Hi, welcome. I'm Lucas. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Hi. You too. You too.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
How you guys doing today?
We're awesome. How are you?
Great. We're great.
Well, thanks so much for coming. The Endings, which is so interesting. So it's about heartbreak, and it features movie star actress, the top level. And what you did is you gave them backstories, basically, and then started shooting. How did this project come to be?
I mean, we basically we were friends hanging out, and we were talking about our own relationships and our own stories. All of, like women talk about relationships. This is one of the main subjects of conversation that we have, and we were spending a lot of time together as friends and working, and we thought these could be really cool visuals.
Right.
And you got some amazing women to be a part of it. I'm gonna just like open up.
Julianne.
Julianne Moore is like the first one I opened up to, and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. So how did you get these women to be a part of your project?
Well, we both worked in film, and some were friends, some were people that we had worked with. And then we probably sent out something like 5,000 emails to publicists and agents, and just really, yeah.
There was a lot of emailing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a very aggressive amount of emailing.
So this book is fictional, but it's inspired by real life. How much of your own stories are in this book?
Some more than others.
Some of us more than others. Before this, I'm someone who journals a lot, and it's just therapeutic for me, like going through breakups. So some of the inspiration in the stories were taken from my personal journals, and they were just like the ridiculous things that I did. And we would always have these conversations, and Kate would be like, "No one would do this," and I was like, "I did that."
Who would lie down in front of their ex-boyfriend's car so they couldn't drive away? And she's like, "I did that."
Did you actually do that?
No way.
She's like,
I was 16.
Right.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
I was like, nobody goes into their closet and totally has a nervous breakdown and pulls all the clothes out. She's like, I did that.
I did that. Yeah.
So there were a few inspired by a true story.
Yeah.
How did you pair those stories with your subjects? Were those conversations you had with the people you worked with? Oh, we feel like this would be great for you, or?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of went both ways. Sometimes, we would all have our ideas and write our ideas down and keep a list of things as we came up with the stories. And then we would either hook up with a person because we were like, oh, we're desperate to shoot, so-and-so, and then say, well, which story would make more sense? And then as we got further and further along, it started to be more like, oh, who would we cast for this specific story? Who would make sense? And we could cast it more like a film. Yeah. That was once we had a few more people to show to the agents and the publicists, and we weren't like, hey, we're two random girls from Toronto, do you want to be in our book? Meryl Streep? And they're like, oh, thanks. Thanks for nothing.
Was it intimidating directing these women?
Oh yeah, the day before we shot Julianne Moore, we were having a sleepover and a breakdown, and we were afraid to tell her what we wanted her to do. But she was amazing. Everyone who worked on the project was fantastic.
They wanted direction, because they're actors, they're used to that, and that's what they thrive off of. That's how they function. But for us, it was like, no, you're just do whatever. Right. They're like, no, don't. Just be Julianne Moore. Don't worry about it.
Which shoot was the most fun or most memorable for you guys?
I think I guess for both of us. So we shot Juno Temple in Brooklyn, and the story is about a girl on a, post-breakup on a downward spiral, something a bunch of us have maybe been through.
Very relatable.
Yeah, quite relatable. And we were actually going from to these different men's apartments, and it was an 18-hour shoot. And we kind of felt like we were
doing it.
Yeah, we were actually doing it, and you were in these man caves with
they weren't actors. The guys weren't actors. We would get in the car and just drive to the next guy's apartment and throw Juno in and take pictures with so-and-so random smelly guy, and then
ourselves.
We made cameos in that one, and then we had to wait for dark, so it took a long time.
And then we all hung out after. It was great.
Yeah.
It was just
really good.
yeah, just a bunch of friends hanging out. The whole thing was probably 25 hours or something ridiculous.
That's cool to hear because the pictures look super raw and real, and so to hear the backstory
Some of
kind
them
of
are
makes
pretty
it come
real.
to life even more. Yeah, so
It's
cool.
real.
Yeah.
They're all real. Just kidding.
What do you hope readers take away from this book? Like,
We just want them to feel something, right? Like, you don't have to relate to it necessarily. You don't have to have gone through the same thing. But we hope that people will feel some sort of emotion from looking at the images, and, or at least just appreciate that it's like a fun book to have.
Right.
You know, it's like a thing that we are thinking like, oh, girlfriends could give it to their friends when they break up with someone. Or if you just happen to love a particular actor in the book, or if you just love books or photography.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's something for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
right. Well, Caitlin, Jessica, thank you so
Thank you.
much for being here. Everybody, make sure to pick up a copy of The Endings. Thank you guys so much.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.